The market is volatile, and right now the question for most of us who are in XRP is what is the short-term outlook for XRP when the market is really volatile, moving up and down, and you see Bitcoin having hard time holding on to the 19k mark. And when you look at the on-chain data for Ether and Bitcoin, you kind of see some weakness coming into the market. Then you go on to the XRP side, and this is like monthly, not the short term. This is just to show you that we raised last 3 months of corrective action, and we entered the 4th month going back to that side. Fine. And then keep in mind, we are here on the macro and we are looking for this retest and bounce. Now you go on to a daily chart zoomed in to see like, okay, what we have done. We broke through couple of big resistance which we had from a long time. Now when you zoom out, keeping the same daily to see like where are we and why are we slow, this is the level of next resistance which we are testing right now. So when you go back here, keep in mind last time when you reached this range, which is 0.38, we did slow down. It was like one, you reached, slowed down, next day there was a volatility. The third day here, you went all the way back down to 0.34 and then came up to 0.39, closed the day there. The next day was again volatile, it came low and then went up. Great. Right now what we are looking at is we need to see the same happening here, but the RSI kind of suggests like, okay, it will be better if we actually get a retest and bounce, but it won't just be this case. We'll have to look at what the XRP dominance is doing and the BTC dominance versus the altcoin market, right? We are actually going to look at that in detail so we know what to expect. This is a scientific investor family where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of the world. As you look at the on-chain metrics, we kind of see like, okay, there are more fiat exchanges getting Ether. But in comparison to how much is going to the crypto exchanges, it is still lower, but the ratio is slowly increasing, 25%. Right? Now we actually look at like, okay, what's it for Tether? Like how many people are there in the stable coin and how it's moving. To the fiat exchanges, now it's reducing compared to last day. So you also see that here in the volume for XRP. Now don't take this negative. We are at 2 billion and yesterday we went to 4.5. Remember we were at 900 million, below a billion, great. And now after this short correction we are happening in the market, the consolidation, you're still holding to 2 billion. So that's double the volume and a lot of people who came in and a lot of people are still interested in this asset. That's what you get there, because at this time, go look at the volume here. It was like 17 billion and right now it's 11 billion. So that in terms of USD is a huge decrease when you see the money is going a little bit back towards the USDT area. Great. Now, what are you looking here? The altcoin market is slowly trying to actually bounce back up, right? It came back. If you zoom out, you will see this was a long-term resistance. We were following this. We broke higher. We came back. We are retesting that range. And right now, slowly trying to break higher. Now, keep this in mind. The break higher here has a lot to do with XRP. It's one of the large cap coin which can influence the market as it moves right now when Ether is not doing anything. So you see like, okay, this is happening here. You are in the positive territory on a daily. You're trying to cross back up. And the pattern is slowly breaking to the upside. So on a daily, the dominance for altcoins suggests like we have room to go higher. Then you come on 3-day, you see like we are here on the positive side. That is important to note that. And then you're continuing this trend. There is volatility. There is a lot of noise in the market. You can literally see that. And then you come here on a weekly to see where we are, where the previous closes were, what we are doing. You broke higher, you had this enormous volatility. Now you are trying to go back up. So now keep in mind that's happening, and this is the pattern what you are observing. So you come higher, you slow down, and then now you're trying to break higher. So this level of break here, zoomed in view, is going to take you as a continuation pattern. Now, what does that actually mean? You can just go onto the Google and type in continuation price action. It is a 2-candle continuation pattern which we are observing here. Now, this is patterns. We will check for like 2 candles. So when the chart is actually suggesting you a continuation pattern, it kind of looks like this. You go up, you have 2 candles which come back down to test this range and then bounce. So if you look at this, you had this here again and again, you follow a similar pattern. So when you actually go zoomed in to the XRP chart, you will see like, okay, there is a lot of possibilities. You are following one trend here. Now you can literally zoom in on a 4-hour chart to see like, okay, what's the real short-term scenario we are looking at. This can be considered as a level of resistance, which we broke higher, right? You came to this level, had the consolidation there, and then went higher. Now, if you actually look at the volatility here, that's like 20% first one, then you drop back to this level. Now, it is really important to see where it dropped because a lot of people are now trying to trade the market or do the short-term stuff. When you come back, don't just keep your stop loss or thought process aligned here, because that's usually what happens. You keep it just below that, the price comes lower, kicks you out. Now, this is one of the range of retest and continuation, which is good. Now, why am I saying that? Because when you continue to look at the next one after this, XRP just did this. You look at this. You broke higher, you came back to test this high and then bounced off from there. Now, if that is the case, you have to understand there is a big possibility XRP is going to come back to 0.42, 0.43. Great. Now you zoom out, asking that question, okay, where does this 0.42 comes in? Do we have other supports above this? Yes, we do have some support about that all the way up to 0.45. So being optimistic, you can say, okay, 0.45 is a range of bounce which you want. Or being, super optimistic, you can say like, okay, there is a short-term scenario evolving. On a 1-hour or 2-hour chart, you can actually literally see like the price is trending like this. And you definitely see a possibility that the price may break higher. Now, we don't know whether it's going to break higher or not. If it breaks higher, the retest is now erased. You're continuing up. Fine. But if you break lower, then the chances are really high that you come to test that bottom, because this is minus 15%. And if you're breaking here, that literally takes you all the way back towards 0.4. So that come back to this level of support, which we discussed. So if you're breaking to the downside, yeah, 0.4. And if you thought like, okay, I missed that rally, you will have a better chance of buying this at 0.4. Now, that's a zoomed in view, so there is going to be a lot of volatility there. But still, to get like, okay, zoomed in short-term view, but at the same time, little noise, you can literally go on, use a 12-hour chart. If you are using a 4-hour chart, try to use a Heikin Ashi, where you see this happening. Now, combine that Heikin Ashi with a 20 moving average, 20 minute. This actually helps you understand like if the correction is over or not. Most likely when it comes back down to the moving average, touch that or get close to that and then turn to bullish candles, usually it continues all the way back up. So you can look at this Heikin Ashi in a way like whenever you get 2 candles in the direction of that trend which you're seeing, it's great. And ensure that whenever you enter, the price is close to the moving average. Now, if you enter, you're a super short-term guy, you're looking at a 1-hour chart. And if it's me, I won't enter here if I'm looking to take an entry. Why? Because the moving average is now neutral to negative. It's not trending up. Fine, when it trends up and the price is above that, jump in. That's what I do. Now, That's my opinion, not financial advice there. And then you step back on a 2-hour chart. It's reversing. So you don't really want to enter there if you're trading based on a 2-hour chart. Great. If your time frame is a little bit more, then now you're clearly observing a trend which is going to the upside. Great. But the MACD suggests there is a possibility of correction. So what you want to observe is how long that correction can be. Great. And this is the point here. On a 12-hour, you'll really have room to come back to visit 0.4243. Let's be a little bit conservative or optimistic. Optimistic, you say, okay, price is going to stay here. Moving average is going to follow up. Great. Conservative, we can say like, okay, price is going to correct down and the moving average is going to come up and we may meet somewhere close to 0.43, 0.45. Great. But taking that extra caution in the market, you can literally say, okay, this is a huge possibility which I see that this level holds. Great. And the next level is going to be retested. If that is the case, then the moving average and the price is going to meet here. Fine. Now you actually zoom out on a daily chart to actually see where your moving average is and where the price is. Because usually whenever you see a difference in moving average and price going like this, you see a new trend forming. Great. To understand that, you come here and look at this. The first time when the moving average and the price got this difference was here, and then you started continuing that trend. Before that, you got this trend line here where the price broke higher from the moving average, like 30%, which we are literally observing now. That's not too high, but what happens after that is a short period of consolidation of correction where the moving average is allowed to catch up with the price, and then you see it bouncing up again. So you really want to see that coming here in the price. So if you look at like, if we do that, last time we did 30% in the first one and consolidated, the next one was like 90%. So let's say like this one is 45 and the next one is like 95. So you can literally go towards $1, which is, in my my opinion, it's like super bullish, because if you are able to break this level of 0.58, 0.6, that now erases a lot of things here. And if it's me, I won't just say it's like 95% run towards $1 which you're looking at. Most likely you're looking for a 190% run after this break, which literally takes you somewhere close to like $1.6. That can be a take profit range for a lot of people, because last time when we went close to that range, we had started getting resistance. Fine. So on a short to medium term, this is what you're looking for XRP. But on the other side, you really have to see like what Ether is doing, because if it is breaking this level, keep in mind this is your downside, which is a 40% after the break. And Ether getting a 40% down here, it's like $740, and which goes all the way back here. You come back here, you raise a lot of gains. But major supports for Ether is here in this range, 1,250 and then 800. So, if you drop, you do get a lot of support before, unless the macro scenario changes, the network is going bust, that kind of stuff come in. Now, for Bitcoin though, this is a strong support we need to hold, because it actually goes back in the time of history and says we had supply and demand in that price range. Now that's on a daily, and we are trying to look at what the short-term scenario is going to be. But as you are here and making a lower low, I would say like, okay, there is a definite chance that you break lower. And unless that break wicks out here at 17, you may break that too. Right now, the energy consumption, that kind of side is actually not that great, and it is trying to push a lot of assets down. But when you come into the market and look like the volatility, you see a lot of coins are actually having volatility. Some of them where the risk is super high, yeah, it goes like this. But others, it is slowly grinding to the upside. So you actually go to the return rates to actually look at it on last one quarter, and you say like, okay, this is just moving up. So XRP in this quarter is just starting here, and go look at that yearly here. We are still at the bottom trying to bounce off. So when you break that, that is the time when we actually see a huge move coming in. So the Bitcoin dominance, if it's breaking lower, as I see it here, we will do this on a real time. We try to look at this resistance, extend that and see where the support is, and come to see the standard deviation. It would be somewhere here. So right now, if you hold this and bounce, that's good for Bitcoin. If it breaks, that is not fine. And you go look at the XRP, we do understand we broke this one higher. Now, being conservative on a short term, you can say like we will have a retest and a bounce. But if you look at the history, we kind of easily say that whenever you break this, you don't get too much of a consolidation on a weekly chart. Then you go on a daily chart to see like, okay, what's the short-term scenario? You do get a correction. And if you take that in percentage terms, this is what you're looking at, a 60% drop in that dominance and then continuing higher. But on the ultra short-term scenario, when you reached there, it was like 20%. Now, 20% drop, being conservative here, let's see like where it actually takes us. Say if the price is dropping 20% from the recent top, you are looking at somewhere close to 2.2. Now we need to see like that if that 2.2 actually aligns with that macro scenario. This is what we are talking about. And I think like, okay, chances are high you are going to hold, retest and bounce in that. Now, when we actually zoom in even closer, but not on this one, we'll actually look at the altcoin market because this is important. We had this trend line, we broke this higher. Right now, after that break, you are trying to hold on to this level. But it does not actually look like it is holding because on the RSI side, you are getting a little bit weaker sign if you ask me. So you may actually see a break to the downside. Now, remember, this is a short-term scenario we are talking about because on a little bit zoomed out view, what you're looking at is that RSI is making a double bottom. MACD is trying to cross higher. Things are different. So on a daily scenario, you're looking for next 12, 15 days, 2 weeks above that. It is not bearish. Instead, it is showing you a positive pattern, which is actually a bullish one. But on a short-term, ultra zoomed in scenario, you're definitely looking for some corrective action. Now, we do kind of have an understanding of what is happening on that side. But if you actually look at like what's happening in the ecosystem for XRP, on the XRP ledger side of it, it is actually, a lot of things are moving around. People are entering. That's why we are seeing the volume going up. But understand XRP is something like this, a fundamental asset. So what happens is like media don't like that. They put this narrative in. Just look at this. I'm like, that's really crazy. They delayed at least 4 to 5 years to jump onto the proof of stake. And then you talk about a 3 months delay like this for Cardano. And I'm like, okay, that's not a big deal. Right? Even if it was 6 months to a year, I would say that's not a big deal compared to what we just saw there. So this side of the media is something which you have to really care about. Whereas this side is something which gives you even more clarity. Shout out to James for this one. What he's trying to finally say here is like XRP as a whole in the world, third party transaction, the secondary market is a security. This is what SEC is trying to make of. Because at the initial point, what they're saying, we aren't saying XRP is a security. But the XRP holders in the secondary market, which is not just US, worldwide, and if you look at the total ODL market and volume, it's like 95% or 90% or more of Ripple's customers are outside US. Then we come on to the secondary market where it's being offered to us. We are buying on the exchanges, right? And that's not security. We're coming on to the macro. One, this is the level we talked about, if you remember. We should not break below this. We flirted with that level for a long time, and there was even times when we were below that on a daily and weekly. That was not great, right? But then you made a double bottom reversal pattern on that support and bounced. Now, what do we want to see after this? Right now, we are trying to follow the candle closes on a weekly. This kind of aligns with the resistance here, right? You see this? So the support, the previous support, which is turned into a resistance here, and this pattern resistance both come here. So this is the reason why I told, like, if you break this level here, Now you are looking for an open range where this is going to be acting as your support. Now that has been a long-term support. If you do that, the way it looks on a monthly is super bullish, because now you're arguing like, okay, we got these candle closes and we had a wick or fake out to the downside, after which we are pumping. And this can remain the trend line as you go up, because that is literally acting. Now, if you say, okay, I'm a little bit conservative, I consider the long wicks and everything else in the price, you can still say like, okay, we are following this 1, 2, 3, you go up, now we come back down. So we want to see the same 1, 2, and 3 blasting through, right? That's optimum case. But we let us wait and see like what the price actually does, because the market is volatile and the economic situation is not that great. So if you're in the market and getting confused about which asset is at the support, which is at the resistance, should I touch this? Should I enter this? Where should I buy this? If you have that kind of questions right now in your portfolio and you're looking at that in details to be serious about your investment, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Guys, if you're receiving value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye-bye.